It's just so dodgy because obviously if it does come off, like it could cause an accident, so we just can't risk it at all. All of this while we're trying to get back because we're going to have to get a ferry, and while we were trying to get out of bad weather. This always happens to us when we're abroad. Every single time. Let's go live in a van, he said. No, I still don't regret a thing. I still do not regret this, neither of us do. But God, sometimes it can be quite trying. Well, good evening. So you join us having left Spain and we are making our way through France now. Now, we weren't going to go very far this evening, but there are severe weather warnings in place and they seem utterly inescapable. There's just strong winds, snow warnings, and it is just covering all of France. There seems to be hardly anywhere that hasn't got something. So the main thing we're trying to do is get away from the orange areas, which are more severe, and just get into one of the yellow areas and hope it's not going to be so bad. This is horrific. We're going along this motorway right now, and you can hear everything rattling. It feels like the bloody windows are going to fall out, doesn't it? It's awful. The van's shaking. Like, the camera's not going to pick it up, I don't suppose, but it feels really fragile right now, and that wind is so strong. The worst thing is, the warning isn't for right now. The warning is for tomorrow, so I don't know what we're in store for. Seemingly heading inland doesn't get away from it, but you would think it's going to be less bad than being by the coast or high up in the mountains. So we're in for a fun 24 hours. Sometimes it's just worse when you're driving, you know, like when you're driving in strong winds, it just accentuates that even more, doesn't it? Like if you're stood still in it, it's not as bad as when you're going full speed in it. I think the plan is just to head as far north as possible. We're not going to drive too much in the dark, but you know, we've got maybe an hour left of light, so just get as far as possible and see if we can park somewhere safe. This is giving me Outer Hebrides memories, Steve, and not the fun parts. Getting flashbacks of going into that ditch. Although, just to add, I do have a tendency to lean towards the dramatic. Shocking, I know. But still, you know, you don't want to ignore weather warnings, do you? Regardless. Yeah, and it doesn't feel nice. So, you know, maybe a little bit of the dramatic is kind of validated under these circumstances. Or maybe it'll all be fine. Hopefully it will. Yeah. So we've just had to pull over now because a truck driver went past us and he was honking his horn really loudly, and then as he got in front of us, his hazards came on, and I don't know, it felt like he was warning of us of something. So obviously with the wind, we're really paranoid, but we can't see anything wrong, can we? It all looks okay. We're not leaking anything, are we? I can't see anything. It looks alright. I mean, on a separate note, that's some sunset, isn't it? Wow. The wind doesn't sound as bad right now. The wind warnings are mostly for tomorrow. Like I said, it was worse when you're driving. I feel a bit better now I'm standing outside. Right, I'm going to let Stephen drive, see if I notice anything. I mean, nothing looks wrong. Tyres are right, aren't they? We do need a tyre replaced, but it's not, nothing's happened there, is it? Hang on, what's that? Oh no, that's just the design. Maybe he was just beeping at us because he was like, God, that's a terrible door, you need to sort that out. Well, not the door, but the side bits. What do you think, Sebastian? Not a lot. Well, we couldn't figure out anything wrong, can't see anything, but at least we got to have a quick wee, so that's something. I can't get over that sunset. Do you notice anything? Do you want to drive around the block? Like, just go round what? Can you get back round that way? I don't know if you can, actually.
Maybe it's just going too slow, maybe.
I mean, we weren't going that slow, but people do get annoyed, don't they, quite quickly? Right, we think we might have figured it out. So our back skylight, we've had that taped up for a while because we didn't want spiders getting in. It's always been a little bit dodgy, like never fully closed, but it always stays in place when you do close it. Now I did check it, I untaped it because I thought, I wonder if it's coming off, and it seems a bit looser, doesn't it, Stephen?
Yeah, this has gone. Yeah.
So with the wind as it was when we were driving, maybe it's lifting up slightly. What do we do?
Well, we need to secure it somehow.
Right, those stretchy cords are probably a bit too much because we're worried they might have too much tension and pull the handle off. So Stephen's using a little bit of like old ribbon material that we've got to fasten it. It's definitely the skylight, because it seems funny that the only person who let us know was a lorry driver that went past, and they would be able to see the top of our van. No one else has done anything or warned us. I would sit in the back and hold it, but it's too far back. In one of our very early videos, this one came off on the M5 in some really strong wind, so I sat in the back seat and held it with a couple of belts until we got somewhere to fix it, which was luckily just down the road. But in this case, I can't stand up as we're driving. Is it not working?
To put too much pressure on that, it's just going to rip that handle off.
We need some string, really. I thought we had some somewhere, but it's just so dodgy because obviously if it does come off, like it could cause an accident, so we just can't risk it at all. All of this while we're trying to get back, because we're going to have to get a ferry, not for a good few days, but still, and while we were trying to get out of bad weather. Oh yeah, olive oil was a bit cheaper in Spain, by the way, so we stocked up on a bottle. That was a whole litre of extra virgin olive oil, which for the equivalent of about £6, which obviously is still a lot of money, but a lot cheaper than the UK at the moment, just to give a side story from the drama going on. Okay, so what we're going to do, we've got some Gorilla Glue, super glue stuff, and we're going to try and glue it down because it's still in place. Maybe it was just the strong wind that was raising it. So we're going to try and glue it down with Gorilla Glue and tie it down with something. Super gluing with a toothbrush right now. This is proper Blue Peter stuff. I think that will hold it.
I think so, it's pretty strong glue.
I fixed our coat hook out the back around the side there, you can't see it, some time ago with that glue, and that's held some really heavy things on it, and it hasn't come apart yet. I think what we're going to do, because we're on a motorway at the moment, we need to get off of that and we need to get onto some smaller roads. One, so we can drive slower, so there's less risk of it actually, the wind building up what it does to kind of get under the vent and lift it upwards, and also so we're less of a risk to other traffic. So I think we need to find small roads and, well, as quickly as possible, find somewhere to stop, really. We can't stay here, I don't think, and we still want to move out of the wind that's coming tomorrow. Okay, next step, we have remembered that we've got some shoelaces in Stephen's bag that we bought for my trainers that needed replacing. For some reason never got round to doing it, so now they've actually got a purpose, we hope. This always happens to us when we're abroad. Every single time. Let's go live in a van, he said. No, I still don't regret a thing. I still do not regret this, neither of us do. But God, sometimes it can be quite trying. So Stephen's now screwing the shoelaces in place, and he's not attaching them to the handles because we think they're going to rip off. They're really weak. So he's done it at the top of the actual vent itself, pulled the shoelaces tight and then screwed them in to the very bottom side bit of the vent.
Secure.
That, in combination with the super glue, should at least get us where we need to be. Okay, so we are giving it a go. We are on this road and then we're going to try to find a way off. We are still currently in like amber warning zone, so we want to get clear of them, so we're at least only in the yellow, but that's still over an hour's drive. I can't really film us because it's dark now, so I'm just filming the road. So we can only hope it holds, but I think the two things Stephen did with the super glue and with screwing in the shoelace, hopefully both of them combined should hold it down, and we just get it replaced when we're back in England. Morning. I think we survived, Steve. I think we're all right. I can't hear any wind. So I think we drove to a safe place. We're just north of Montpellier, is it? In some little village. The skylight stayed on. Unfortunately, we ended up driving up and up and up. We couldn't see anything, and it turned out we were in some kind of like little mountains. I think they're just hills, really, but it felt quite high, didn't it? But we seem to have come to a safe place. We made the right choice, and today's when it all hits, and I can't even hear anything. So, disaster so far averted. So yeah, hopefully we can just carry on driving today and make some tracks up through France. I think it all passes, but first should we just wake up and have a cup of tea, and I'll stop filming us from ridiculous angles.
That'd be good.
It's hurting my arms now anyway. Let's stop the camera.
Aye.
So what we have done, we've
That
got
is well done.
on top of the super gluing the skylight down and tying it with a shoelace and then nailing it in, we've got some zip ties and made a chain and kind of held it down like that. That is 3 things that should, in theory, hold it in place enough to get us home, right?
I'm going to do the other side as well because it's quite warm, that side.
Yeah, both sides. I mean, the side nearest to us is the one that came off, but both sides are a bit wobbly. So another line of zip ties will be useful. In the meantime, we are back in France, and oh my god, I love French supermarkets. Everything just feels so much nicer. So I got myself some celeriac remoulade, which I just love, this carrot thing that they do here, and we also, as a treat later, because France are so bloody good at their cakes, we got ourselves these things. You can't really see it, we'll show you them later. Opera cakes, not really sure what they are, but they look very nice. And 2 Paris breasts, which are absolutely delicious, and they've got this lovely kind of cream thing in the middle. So Stephen's just putting another link in now of the zip ties. I think we'll be okay now.
The beauty of zip ties.
Yeah, absolutely. Put them somewhere so we can never figure out where they are when we need them. All right, because this is what happens when you don't eat breakfast. So this is the Paris breast. We've had it before, a proper one in a bakery, and it's like a hazelnut cream, is it, in the middle?
Hazelnut cream, yeah, and like a choux pastry. But because it's from a supermarket and it's not fresh, this is soggy, but it's still nice.
So this is the opera cake. I don't know what it is. It just looks absolutely divine. It's not even like lunchtime yet,
Yes,
is
it is.
Is it?
It's nearly 1 o'clock.
Oh, then it's fine. Oh my god.
Looks like chocolatey goodness.
No, it is, but it's all coffee, and it was so nice. Oh my god. It's like
Opera
coffee
cake.
and chocolate going for it. Like what?
It's called opera cake.
Yeah, I think it's called, 2 times opera, so opera cakes. Oh my god, it's like spongy chocolate, coffee. It's so rich. That's amazing, Steve.
Nothing like cake for breakfast, is there?
I had a run this morning, it's allowed.
Aye.
I did a 5k.
With that, we need to get on the road.
We do.
Let's go.
We're not going anywhere, I'm eating my cake. So that was the supermarket we just went to, Intermarché. We love an Intermarché because they have loads of things, but that's an Intermarché super. I don't know what that means, but it felt a lot more posh, didn't it, really?
It was just a bit smaller.
It was smaller, but it felt like it had mostly the expensive stuff. So yeah, but still, that was very nice to look around. I love French food and French supermarkets. We've just spent far too much money, but never mind. So we're going to move upwards today. We're going to carry on up through France. Unfortunately, I'll let Stephen finish sneezing. Are you right? Do you want a tissue?
No, I'm alright.
So the plan is, because of all the weather warnings, we have a choice. We can go on the non-toll roads, but that takes us through all the yellow warnings for snow and wind. Yellow's not so bad, but still, we'd rather not do it. Especially with the state of our vent. Yes, it's been secured in 3 different ways now, but it's still something we'd rather avoid. Apart from anything, just driving in it is not very nice if it does hit hard. The way that seems to be clear though, and doesn't have many warnings at all, is the way via the toll roads if you go up via Lyon, and it is a lot quicker. So we might just suck it up and pay it, because I think we've got to think about the van. We've still got to make tracks. Like, we're actually like a little bit pushed for time at this stage, and we don't like going too far in one go. And today we might do like 4 hours, which is quite a lot for us in a day. So yeah, with all that considered, the vent in mind, we are probably going to stick to the toll roads. We've got to think about the safety of ourselves and the van and the state of our roof, etc, etc. So very annoying, because French toll roads are super expensive, but we didn't pay them on the way down, so it's not as bad. So let's make some tracks, shall we?
Come on then,
let's go. Too busy eating cake and nattering.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, all right then. I'm pressing stop right now. There we go. So these are the tolls we speak of. The first one. Oh, what do I do? Oh yeah, I press that. Get a ticket. Oh, there it is. Barrier comes up. And whenever you come off, which could be absolutely miles or at the next junction, you put your ticket into the next stop and you're charged however long you've travelled from since you picked the ticket up. We really don't want to be doing this, but we've got to think about several factors here.
And our idea of yellow might be very, very different to what the French idea of yellow is.
Yeah.
So we don't have to...
Continue for 440 kilometres.
There you go, we're on this for 440 kilometres apparently. If there's one positive to say about the toll roads, and that's another factor in this, is the fact that they seem to have so many areas that you can stop in, so many airs, not airs that we know of in terms of like sleeping over in your van, but just areas to stop so you can have a toilet break, get something to eat. There are quite a lot. So there are benefits to them, and under the current circumstances where if something goes wrong, like the vent doesn't hold, I'm sure it will, but just in case, we've got an opportunity to get off the road fairly quickly. Still, our bank balances are not looking forward to this. This weather feels like a warning, as if to say, don't carry on, don't go back to the UK, turn back, go back to sunny Spain. And this is the point where we pay for our choices that we hope are still sensible choices. And we have to tell ourselves that, because this is probably going to cost a fortune. Jesus Christ, 33 euros. 33 euros that was.
That was only part of it.
Oh my God, what was that, for like 2 hours driving? That's huge. So that's like what, 29, 30 quid? I think really, by the end of today, we can hopefully avoid toll roads on the way back to Calais, because that is going to mount up really, really quickly. So yeah, tonight we are going to find our way just to about Lyon, somewhere there, and we will find somewhere to stay without driving through it, and soothe our bank cards.
And have a glass of wine.
And have a glass of wine. We're in France, we'll have a glass of wine. Oh, but that's a nice sight though. We've come through the rain, and there's a lovely rainbow. Very stark against the grey background there. Let's take it as a sign of luck, Steve. Alright, here we go again. Another toll, another ticket. Onwards we go. Maybe the toll's for the rainbow, Steve. It's for the scenery. Don't know if you can see it, but that's the rainbow, and it's a whole complete rainbow, the whole arch. You can just see it going up there. Well, apparently driving through rainbow arches just makes the weather worse, so let's not do that in future, shall we? Oh God, we've got no wine, Steve. No, we need to find a shop. We've got to find wine. It's cheap in France as well. The only thing that is. There you go, Steve. Get your chops around that. Yeah, just down it.
Yeah, it's been stressful today.
It has been stressful. Morning, Steve.
Morning.
Another day of long driving ahead of us.
Aye.
We need petrol, and you know what else we need? We need a bloody shower.
Aye, we do.
We desperately need a shower now.
We do.
I'm starting to feel quite grubby.
Aye.
And this weather is just making me feel worse.
Aye.
So let's head on further north.
Let's go then.
All right. So we just stopped for a little bit of lunch. And now our bloody fridge is broken. So I just tried to open it. It was on a little latch, and the spring just kind of flew out, and something snapped on the plastic. So now the mechanism's not working. We can't fit it back together. And now I did have it shut, but something's just kind of fallen through and it's stuck, and it's preventing us from shutting the fridge door altogether now. I know I'm explaining that badly, but the fridge mechanism that holds the door shut is completely busted now. So this is our fridge. Obviously it's a very old fridge. I imagine it's the same one that's been in here since the van was actually made. And we had a little button here that we pressed to open it and lock it. And what's come out is this spring. And this part here is the top bit, the actual button that you press up and down to lock it. So I tried to open it. It has been playing up for a couple of days actually. And the whole thing just sprang out along with another bit of broken plastic. I think we're just going to tape it up for now. We need to move, so we're going to have to deal with this later. Feels like everything's happening at once in this van at the moment. Obviously we had the gear problem a while back, then the skylight, now the fridge, and there's definitely other things that need doing. This is the thing about having an old van, there's going to be problems that need fixing quite regularly, but sometimes, you know, they're all going to happen at the same time, and they're going to become much more common the older she gets, of course. And because we live in it and we travel in it all the time, that's going to exacerbate, that's the word, it's going to exacerbate the issues. We've left the kettle on the side now, that's still got water in, so now we need to stop again to take the kettle off the side. Normally we just put that on the floor so it doesn't fall off of anything. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is it's going to fall over and just spill water everywhere, or it might fall the other way into the window, and we don't want that. The kettle has been safely removed and put back in its rightful place on the floor. God, who keeps a kettle on the floor? We do. Put lots of things in lots of odd places because there's no normal places to put them. We think with the fridge, rather than try and put that back together, we might be better off trying to order a new part, a new mechanism for that section. That if that's possible, then we're probably going to do that, because so much of the plastic is actually broken. So we'll look into it. Okay, so we've moved on tonight. We have driven about 4, maybe 5 hours, I can't remember now. We've just driven through a massive country park and we saw hardly any traffic the whole time. It was so nice, really good roads as well. And this time we avoided all the toll roads. So it was really I mean, it's a long drive, but it was a really lovely, easy route. I would say we're about 2/3 of the way up the country now, so we've made some really good progress. But tonight, however, I'm going to get some dinner on, so we are going to make a little curry, and we are going to have a sweet potato curry. So I've got a couple of these. I probably only need 2 because they're quite big. Going to chop up an onion, and we're going to chop up some garlic. In fact, we're going to grate the garlic. I have to be honest, when it comes to finely chopping onions, I'm absolutely no good at it because I can never get the pieces that small. I don't mind a few bigger onion pieces. So we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 big cloves of garlic to the curry. We're going to grate those down. Lots and lots of lovely garlic, lovely stuff. The only trouble with this is by the time you get to about 3/4 of the way through, you kind of have to stop, otherwise you're just going to grate the ends of your fingers off. So you kind of have to take the end bits and then chop those, but that's fine because it takes literal seconds to get through most of the garlic. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm not very technical when it comes to cooking, but this does bring out the flavour more, I find, because it just turns it to a lovely mush that you can stir through, as opposed to the little chopped bits, although they work as well. And we're also going to add some tomatoes. So normally, if I'm doing a curry, I will just use a tin of chopped tomatoes. But I'm going to do it slightly differently this time. So I'm going to use lots of fresh tomatoes and chop them up into small pieces with all their juice, and then try and recreate that. I think I may have gone slightly overboard with the fresh tomatoes, but that's all right, it will just be more tomatoey. But we're not just having the fresh tomatoes, we are going to add something else to that as well. We are going to put not tinned chopped tomatoes in, but we're going to put this fried tomato. Now in Spain, you see this everywhere on the shelves, like it dominates so much of the supermarket shelves, but you don't really see traditional chopped tomatoes so much. Like there's a few bits, but not so much. So this fried tomato, it's more like a puree, a bit like a passata, or like tomato juice. And I'm guessing, I think it's been fried. Does Fritos stand for fried, Steve? So, yeah. Did we look this up? I think we did once. So it's like fried tomato. I think they've already salted it as well, so I'll have to be careful with what salt or things I put in the actual curry. But it's really, really nice. So I'm going to add that to the chopped tomatoes, and although that'll be very tomatoey, we're going to have sweet potato in there, which is going to need to cook down and soften, so it's going to need lots of juice. I feel like I can't speak tonight, I'm just tired and it's late. Let's carry on anyway. Let's add the Spanish fried tomato. We've got some left in the cupboard, so we may as well use it up. I really struggle to chop these things. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. I just find the knife gets stuck. We probably just need a bigger knife. This little knife we just got from a charity shop. We realised we didn't have any sharp knives at one point. I think we lost one. God knows how you can lose a sharp knife. I dread to think. but we went into a charity shop. They don't put things like this on sale usually, for obvious reasons. So I just asked somebody behind the counter, I said, have you got any knives? And she come out with a whole box of all these sharp implements, and we only needed a little one, and so far it's been fine. But I think it needs sharpening now. So currently in the pan we've got the chopped tomatoes that I chopped up, the garlic, the onion, a bit of olive oil, and we've put some spices in there. So we've got some cumin. I just guess at amounts. I just poured a bit in. If it's not enough, then I will add some more later. I just try not to go overboard. And I've put some curry powder, which obviously is just a mix of different spices. So that should give it some nice flavour in. I'm obviously doing this in the wrong order. I don't know what the right order is, or the wrong order to be honest, but I'm just doing it in whatever order I see fit tonight. And we're also going to add a little bit of this. So in Spain, and also so far in France, we've struggled to buy fresh chilies, and you don't struggle to buy them in the UK at all. So just finding hot fresh chilies in Spain or France has been near on impossible. So the substitutes we've used, obviously we've got chili powder, but sometimes we've bought little sauces. So we've got a picante sauce in the cupboard, and the other day we found this. Now this is harissa paste, and harissa is like a North African kind of spice mix. I think there's like hot peppers in there, but also other spices like, I don't know, caraway seeds I think, and some garlic again. So it's a mix of different things. I think it's most closely associated with Tunisia, or at least that's what I've just googled 2 seconds ago before pressing play. That was quite a long explanation for adding some spice, wasn't it? But there we go, that's harissa paste. So this is the fried tomato. As you can see, it kind of comes out just like a sauce really, but it is really, really tasty. Just going to stir all that through, and then we're going to let that cook down for a bit. I've added some spinach, and we just need the potato to be a little bit softer. I'm having trouble with this one because it appears to be sticking to the pan even when I put the lid on. I'm thinking that might be something to do with the fried tomato, but I don't know. There we go, Steve. 1 sweet potato curry.
Lovely.
And rice. Good?
Nice, nice.
Well, at least it's edible at the end.
The rice is good as well.
Oh, that's good. So there we are, 1 sweet potato curry with rice, which has come out perfectly, by the way. We used to use boiling the bag rice, just because it was convenient, and then we just decided we didn't like the idea of it because it was like boiling it in the plastic bags, especially after one kind of disintegrated as we were cooking it. I'm just going to eat now. I know it's not that interesting. I'm just like filming stuff. I think we're just going to eat and go to bed.
Bye.
I'll turn the camera off. See you in the morning.
Morning.
Oh, another day, freezing weather.
We're being hardened back off to the UK
We are.
standard.
At least we're going to be used to it because this feels like UK weather already.
Yeah, it
now,
does.
doesn't it? That's it. Holiday's over.
Aye.
We parked up on a really empty, huge air last night. It was so peaceful. There's one van behind us, but that's only turned up this morning, so we were completely on our own. Absolutely lovely. Now we're just going to head on. We do need a shower. We are going to settle down and put another video together. We need to go shopping, and then we need to slowly make our way towards the ferry.
Aye.
That's it.
Let's
It's pretty
go.
boring, to be honest.
Yep, come on, let's get cracking.
Yeah, it's too boring to film. Just stop.
Please. All right then, bye.
Bye. I think it's very important that we stop and give you a very valuable lunch update here. So this looks absolutely delicious. We've got some mackerel, some jalapenos, some salad, lentils. We've got some remoulade. We've got some coleslaw. All looking pretty tasty, Steve. And that's it until the next bit of the video. I just thought I'd share it. Morning, morning, Steve.
Morning.
Another day, another free French air. Sounds like it's part of a nursery rhyme, doesn't it? Like 12 days of Christmas. 3 French airs.
Oh, it's cold.
Oh, it's like ice, isn't it? It's like bone chilling, that temperature. It really just cuts straight through you.
Live in a van, they said it'd be fun.
Yeah. No, you said. That's what you said. That's how you sold me on it.
Yep. To be fair, we could just put a hat and gloves on.
Of course we could, if we could find them. Yeah, we haven't had to use the hat and gloves for a little while. I think they're at the bottom of a cupboard somewhere. They will be coming out very soon, no doubt.
Let's get going then so we get the heater on.
We need to do that, yeah. Yeah, we're just driving so we can put the heater on. Well, thank you. Another free air in France. Very grateful. Good morning, Daisy. What a lovely little place to have a free air. They always put them in the most strange places. But we're not complaining. Should we move into that, Steve? That's a bit of an upgrade. We'll have one of those, please. One thing we've really struggled with is trying to find a shower. So even though there's usually plenty in service stations, there just hasn't been any en route for us in the way that we're going. It's just been really tricky. Sometimes places turn the water off, so we've had a bit of a mission there, haven't we? So we are desperate for a shower because it has been a little while. So we have found a place. We do have to pay for it. It's a little camping place, not far from Calais, so we're kind of at the end of our journey now, and it's next to a little town that hopefully we can go and have a look at as well. Steve just decided to drive on the left. We're not home yet, Steve. Easily done though. Oh, and van roof update. So the vent has held in place completely. To be honest, I think it's been secured so well that actually we've totally forgot about it. However, it does clearly need replacing when we can get around to it. And the bit on our fridge that pinged off, did that make the video? I don't know, I think it might have done. There's a bit of our fridge that pinged off, so we can't really repair that because there's so many broken plastic bits, but we think we can order a bit online that we can replace, so it's like the catch that keeps it shut while we're driving. However, the window is now rattling in a really bad way. Daisy needs a makeover, don't you, girl? Alright, so we've arrived at our little place that we're staying at, and it's kind of like a campsite, but it's more like an air, but you do pay for it. For €15, there's this little place right by a canal, about 10 spaces, not on grass, because that's the other thing about France, by the way. So many of the campsites just have grass pitches, it seems. So this one has loads of gravel pitches. You've got water waste, electric, you've got beautiful clean showers, sinks, washing up area, all the stuff. I think for €15, that's really, really good. And I'm going to put this in here just because why not? These things seem to be a topic of interest sometimes. I've got a little bit of a confession to make. So since we've just got here, I have dyed my beard. Yes, I know, midlife crisis incoming, right? Although surely that already happened when we moved into this little camper van to travel around the UK in freezing temperatures. That must have been the crisis. This is just a blip. So I'm sure some people would be like, oh God, you don't need to do that. Oh, don't bother, age normally, etc, etc. Well, of course, you know, like we do that as well, we hope. But sometimes it's just nice to play about with your appearance. I don't know why I'm justifying it. I'm sure Stephen will be telling me off for justifying this. But, you know, like, I've been going grey since I was really, really young. And I was going grey in some really annoying places on my beard. So I just thought, let's just play about with it. And the funny thing is, on all of our Spanish videos, ever since we've been travelling through France and Spain, me and Stephen, for the majority of them, had beards that we had dyed. Nobody had actually commented on it, I think because maybe it wasn't that obvious, but also because we didn't do it in the middle of a video. And as I've done this in the middle of a video, I thought I'd kind of acknowledge it in case it was like, he looks slightly different. I've tried to do it subtly though, so it isn't too bad. I've tried to leave a few grey, so there's a kind of natural look going on of sorts. So yeah, just thought I'd share that. The beard thing, there we go. We've dyed the beards. It's fun to play about with. Sometimes we're going to shave the beards off. I've noticed the beards have had a few comments. Some people like it, some people don't like it. Well, that's how we're going to feel. Sometimes we're going to get rid of it, as Stephen did fairly recently. Sometimes we're going to grow them. For me, it's a bit of a novelty, so it's fun to see what it looks like. I'm sure I'll get bored, shave it off, and then just move on, and then maybe go back to it again at some point. There we go. That's it. Beard stuff over with. If you're wondering, by the way, because these keep popping into view, what these rags are hanging down, Stephen actually tried to do something where he was decorating our ceiling, but it's not quite finished, as you can see. So Daisy isn't quite falling apart. It's just a project that never actually got anywhere. Well, not yet anyway. You got to work on that, Steve.
No.
Okay, he doesn't want to. Well, we're just left with rags then.
No.
Never mind. Well, even though it's freezing and I still don't feel right, and you don't feel brilliant now either, do you? And it's getting dark. It feels so grim. We just want to snuggle down, really. But we're going to go and walk into the little town just to see what's there, just to do something, because it feels like we've had days and days of just driving, sitting still, sitting still. So let's go and stretch our legs, and if it's worth filming, we'll film some of it. Yeah. Or maybe we'll just film it anyway, because otherwise it's just us nattering. Well, it's me nattering. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop nattering. Yeah, all right. So tonight's delicacy is using up leftovers in the fridge and the cupboard because obviously we are about to go home. So it was a case of digging around, wasn't it, and seeing what we had left. And what we had left was a couple of sweet potatoes, some carrots, and a tin of macaroni cheese that's been sitting there for ages. Yeah. So we cooked that up, mashed it, the carrots and sweet potatoes, heated up the macaroni cheese, stirred a tin of tuna through it, and that's it. That's what we've got in a bowl.
That's all right.
Is it all right? Kind of comforting? This really shouldn't work, but it really does somehow. Luckily, we've got some naughty stuff to follow this up with, haven't we?
We have.
And we'll show you that in a minute. So, as it was the last day in France, the last day abroad, we couldn't resist the patisserie, where we saw delightful, devilish things that have tempted us. So that's what we've got for dessert. What have you got, Steve?
I have got... Look at that bad boy. That is a vanilla slice.
Oh, look at that. That looks absolutely delectable.
It does.
We'll find out it's not a vanilla slice now. It just happens to look like it. Dig in.
Of course, I'm not going to eat this with a fork so the camera's off.
Well, you don't have to do it for the camera. No one's going to care if you pick it up.
No, very
it's our van. It's our channel. If you want to just shove it in your mouth, do it.
They're very messy. This pastry's lovely. I need to experience the whole thing at once.
It requires being shoved in, this one, doesn't it, I think?
When we have this at home, all of the kind of ice and stuff always just falls off the top when you first bite it, but this isn't going to happen. It's nice. It's got textures.
The French are just so much better at their cakes. Everything is just so much nicer. No bloody ice buns here. Now, this was my one. I can't remember the name of this, but it looks like delicious fun, doesn't it? The lady was trying to explain, but obviously I didn't particularly understand. I tried. They were labelled. I've got a feeling it might be caramel or something. I don't even know what it is. It just looked nice. Oh look, it even comes on a little stand.
Look at that. It looks like an edible chocolate flower on top.
I think it's meant to be a snowflake, maybe? I don't know.
Ooh, it looks lovely.
It does look good.
It's probably just a Swiss roll with a bit of cream in it.
This was €3.80, so we're talking like, what, £3.20 maybe? Let's go in. Oh, I don't think you're too far wrong with that assumption there. It's a bit like a Swiss roll. Oh my Christ. But the best Swiss roll you've ever had. I don't think it is a Swiss roll. Oh my God, that is so soft and smooth. Filming that won't convey the taste. The taste is...
Nice.
It does taste like caramel. Oh my God, I love you, France. I love you so much. I'll tell you what, I'm not a sweet person. And I'm never, back home, Stephen is, but back home, I never think I want to go into a UK bakery and think I want to pick myself up a treat, you know, because generally they're not that exciting.
No,
Sorry, but
they're
not.
They're just like B&M kind of tray bakes.
Yeah.
They're just cut up into small squares. And
well, let's not do a disservice to our bakeries. Like, a lot of them are made, but they're just not always that interesting. So for somebody who isn't that big on sweet stuff, I have to be really persuaded. France, you just have to look in a window of patisserie and it's like, I'm in, I'm sold. And this, a bit like the opera cake I had the other day, oh my God, it's perfection. It's so tasty. I don't know what it is. It's a very, very soft sponge. It feels really well made. And there's some very tasty, like, caramelised cream in there. It doesn't look caramelised, but that's the only flavour I can describe it as. Right, I want to eat now.
Delish, yeah. Bagger off, everybody. We want to eat.
Yeah. This is a private thing. Morning, Steve.
Morning.
We're busy bees today. We're up, we're ready. We've got a few things to finish off before we go, because today, sadly, is ferry day.
Yeah, I know. I kind of was for... I like going back home a little bit though. It's just the familiarity again.
It'll be. I mean, it's nice to go back to familiar driving for you, familiar language for us, and all that kind of stuff. But you know, I think because we're going back in a very cold time, that's not particularly exciting. No. So squish, squish, sad, sad, squish, squish, sad, sad. But maybe we'll come over again at some point.
Right, let's keep cracking on.
Yeah, we must crack on. We got to move.
We have.
We got a ferry to catch. It's our last few hours, Steve.
And we're going to miss it if you keep talking.
Okay, I'll press stop. So this is the washing up area. I can't tell you how nice it is to wash up in a proper sink with proper running water that comes out hot. Obviously we can wash up in our sink, and we do, but it's a lot more awkward. So it is just so nice to be able to have a sink with proper hot water. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Who actually enjoys washing up?
Not me.
No, that's why Stephen's given it to me. I don't enjoy washing up, but because we've got these luxuries, it actually makes it half enjoyable, which is ridiculous. Anyway, crack on. And this is the shower room. So there's a disabled toilet and shower in there. Hello, Stephen. So you've got sinks in individual cubicles, which is really nice. Loads of showers. There's not masses of room in the showers. I don't know if that light's going to go on. There we go. And they're not super powerful, but they're warm enough. They're very, very clean. This is definitely one of the cleanest blocks we've ever seen. And also the heating's on. It is so toasty and warm in here. So it's really nice to come in for a shower or clean up in the mornings. I very much doubt you'd find a place back home in the UK that costs, what's that, like £12 a night with facilities like this. The amount of campsites we've stayed on where it's so cold to shower in the winter. So this is really nice. That's the shower block and the washing up block and everything over there. I think over that is like static caravans. People live there permanently maybe, I don't know. And we're right by a canal. So the town we went to, it's only just over there. The canal's here. And we've got about 10 pitches, and there's only one over van here, which was really nice, all hard standing. And one last French wee for Daisy before we move on. Oh, it's always a trauma trying to get into the ferry port. You can never remember which way to go, or if you never know if you're going in the right lane, do you? Luckily, when you get to this bit, you've got plenty of room to see which ferry you get and where you're supposed to go. And I think we class as a car. We're not a car. But they never have a lane for camper vans, of course. All right, we're going to kind of improvise very quickly here because we've just had to jump back into the van because we are going to get off the ship anytime soon. Well, it might take ages, but we don't know, so we have to hurry up. They're opening the doors. So it was too cold to film anything on the ferry, so that's why we've jumped ahead. It was absolutely freezing. There was just no point. You've seen that before. That was all a lovely trip. Wonderful, wonderful. We had a great time. We are, by the time you see this, it will be probably the first week of January, so we are currently a couple of weeks behind you guys. So we're currently going home now. Well, not going home, we're going back to the UK. We're going to do some work over Christmas, and then you will catch up with us in January when we're out on our new adventures or whatever the hell we're doing. We don't know yet.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to end the video. So please push your like button. It's very important to push your like button. Subscribe if you like the channel, and push your notification bell if you want to find out when our next video comes out. Yeah, there may be a gap between, we might miss a week, but we're not sure yet. Aye. Well, you'll find out next week. All right then. All right. All right then. Well, thank you for joining us on this journey. We've had a bloody brilliant time, and let's go back and freeze our tits off in the UK, shall we? As opposed to France. Well, as opposed to France. Well, certainly not like Spain. No. Anyway, can't wait. That's it. See you next time. See you next time. Bye. Bye.